In WWE and wrestling in general, one of the most popular kinds of wrestlers is that of the masked luchador or luchadora. The mask is a reference to various styles of wrestling, including the Mexican lucha libre style, and when it comes to the mask, there is one rule: you never take it off. But of course, this is wrestling, so there's going to be various unmaskings. Allow us to show you some of the best. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. 10. Miz-Direction. When it comes to some of the most hated wrestlers in the business, it's usually the ones who can talk the best game and make it so that they stand out from the crowd. Chris Jericho, The Rock, Jake the Snake, etc. For The Miz, he's always been good on the mic, but his wrestling skills and overall character have been criticized throughout his career, and at points he's had to do some things in order to get back to the limelight. One such time was that after a series of events and matches, Miz was basically barred from PPVs, any match on Raw or SmackDown, and on it went. So, during a contract on a pole match, former WWE star Eugene went out and battled the Calgary Kid, and the Calgary Kid won. But when he went to thank Eugene for the match, he instead hit a skull-crushing finale, which is a finishing move of The Miz. Sure enough, Calgary Kid took off his mask and it was The Miz. Miz is still in WWE right now and is a current tag team champion, so clearly doing this move and unmasking worked in his long-term favor. Number 9. Lookout Hurricane. During the 90s and early 2000s, there was a very popular character called the Hurricane. He was the WWE's take on a superhero character, and it was portrayed by wrestler Gregory Helms. He would come out to a very heroic superhero music, act like a superhero, and so on and so forth. But just like a superhero, he wore a mask, and he always kept it on. That is, until he got into a feud with rival Jamie Noble and his girlfriend. After one particular altercation, Jamie Noble trapped Helm's arms and allowed his girlfriend to unmask him. This was a major blow to both him and the crowd, and a true sign of a cowardly act. Ironically though, later on in his career, Helms would abandon his superhero persona to turn heel and just be Gregory Helms. But after his release from WWE, he became the Hurricane once again and has been donning his mask ever since. Number 8. Will the real Sin Cara please stand up? Okay, the story of Sin Cara in WWE is easily one of the biggest mysteries in regards to why things happened the way it did. In short, Sin Cara was formerly known as El Místico in the Mexican wrestling circuit. He was so huge in the country he had his own comics and other apparel to prove that he was a star. Naturally, WWE wanted him, and eventually they got him. And Mexico even did an arc with him before he left to pass on the El Místico mask, and his arrival in WWE was hyped very heavily. But then things started going very wrong. Call it the nerves, call it the other talent, whatever, but Sin Cara was not resonating with the fans, and he apparently wasn't as smooth in a WWE ring as he was in a Mexican ring for whatever reason. This led to the arrival of another Sin Cara, who tried to take over the mask and the name. Eventually, the two did battle and the true Sin Cara won by pulling the mask off the other. Number 7. It was you? The late Eddie Guerrero was one of the most beloved superstars in WWE history, and one of the most legendary runs he did was as WWE Champion, and his first and only time having that title. He would eventually lose it to JBL, but during a steel cage match, a masked wrestler came out and screwed him out of the match, which was a reference to how Eddie dressed up as El Gran Luchador to beat JBL in a previous match. When the mask was lost, Eddie rightfully went after the masked wrestler, and was able to wrench off his mask to reveal that it was none other than Kurt Angle, which was important because at this time Kurt was paralyzed. Guess not. Number 6. Come on, Hoovy. Juventud was one of the bigger wrestlers in the WCW days, who helped usher in the lucha libre style in regards to bringing it into the mainstream. Yet, because of a feud with Chris Jericho, he had to lose the mask on live TV. And Jericho didn't take too happily to the unmasking ceremony taking as long as it did. So he went and he just ripped the mask off of him, forcing him to show his face. The look of Juventud when he had no mask was very compelling. Number 5. The bald CM Punk. When it comes to certain wrestlers, their hair is very much a part of their identity, and WWE knows that. Which is why on occasion they'll go and have them compete in hair versus hair matches to ensure that they have a new look and have some serious shock value. One of the people who had the honor of doing this was none other than CM Punk, who went from a very long locks approach to his hairstyle to getting shaved bald. The problem was that his character didn't like that he was getting shaved bald, so he put on a luchador mask in order to hide the fact that he was now bald. Eventually he had a conflict with the Big Show where Big Show happily ripped the mask off of him so that all the world could see a bald CM Punk. Number 4. 619. What does Chris Jericho have against luchadors? Regardless of that answer, in one of his later runs with WWE, he went up against none other than masked luchador legend Rey Mysterio. And in one of their fights, Rey went for his 619 maneuver, only for Jericho to seize the opportunity, rip off his mask, and then roll him up for the win. Rey Mysterio has actually had a long history of getting his mask ripped off of him, including in a recent feud with Andrade Cien Almas. Number 3. It is Moolah. If you really look back at wrestling history, you'll see a lot of unmaskings, even during the elder days of wrestling lore. Heck, even the ladies got into it, like in this match between Super Lady and a masked luchadora. The luchadora won the match, but something didn't feel right, so Super Lady struck and ripped off the mask. To the shock of many, it was actually the fabulous Moolah under the mask, and she ran off when she was exposed. Number 2. Hes Back. Remember what I said about Chris Jericho and luchadors? Well, they got their revenge on him one time in a big way by bringing in one of his biggest rivals to deal with him. During a battle royale, the winner was to face Jericho, and Hoovy, who we mentioned earlier, intentionally lost the match for another luchador. Said luchador then unmasked himself to reveal that he was in fact Dean Malenko, a man who had a serious beef with Jericho, and Jericho himself was stunned at the arrival. Number 1. Kane's unmasking. Kane in the WWE has been another very long-standing thing, including the fact that he's been both face, heel, tag team champion, singles champion, and more. And through the years he's wrestled both with and without the mask. But the first time he revealed his true face without the mask was a big deal. He had been on a serious face run with RVD, but lost a match where he had to reveal his face. And when he did, it was scarring to say the least, and RVD paid the price for it. So, there you go. Some of the best unmaskings that have ever happened in the WWE. What do you think of them? Which of these moments was your favorite? Can you believe that the WWE has had that many unmaskings over the years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.